Hi, everybody. It is Beto Paredes again here in our media center with Marketplace Master. I'm very excited today about the prospects of giving you some education on things that are very important for your dealership and how you actually create vehicle descriptions and how you market your cars online. This is a lot of times something that gets missed by a lot of dealerships, but they probably don't understand the high level of value in it. And today I am here speaking with DealerAssistNow, and their CEO and founder, Aaron Johnson, is on the phone. We're very excited to have him here as a guest. He'll be talking about a lot of those things. Their company, DealerAssistNow, writes descriptions that best frame a vehicle for search engine visibility, accuracy, and quality content for your car buyers. Not only will their service separate you from your competitors, but they are master wordsmiths. We all know that words compel emotion and action in buyer relationships, and DealerAssistNow focuses on writing that builds this relationship from the very first step. So I've got Aaron on here with me today. Aaron, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic.
I'm having a great day as well, Aaron. I'm so glad you were able to jump on here with me. I'm wanted to learn a lot more about your company and what it is your product is and how it works. I think one of the best ways to kind of frame this in so that you can really give a good description of what it is you offer to an auto dealer is the one big question, how do buyers even find cars? Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Sure. Based on feedback from the industry, it seems like everyone uses words to find cars. So meaning they're using words on Siri, Google, any of their search engines. They're asking their devices. They know exactly what they want. They know what color they want. They know what engine they want. They're a little more detailed nowadays, spend a lot of hours shopping and researching, and then when they get to their final decision, they know what they want. Where we help out is we identify the vehicle in the detail so that way the consumer finds what they want with the right vehicle. So if they're looking for a carbon black metallic vehicle, then they can find a carbon black metallic vehicle if it's written in the word. Much easier than just letting the consumer search through 500 blacks looking for the one that's carbon black.
Right, so you put more details in there because in these search interfaces like Google, specifically everyone's familiar with that one, the more granular you get, the better your results. So it sounds like you guys are going in and making sure that the words in these descriptions are written in such a manner that it actually works for the way the logic and the psychology of the searcher really works. Would you say that's the case?
Yes, and we've done this for a lot of years. We adapt anytime the search engines let us know that there's new enhancements or special keywords or anything like that that we need to focus on. But we do have a pretty solid formula. Consumers always want to know the condition of the vehicle. They always want to know if it's one owner, accident-free, new, used, certified. So we always try to capture that. But we always capture the year, the make, the model, the trim, the body style, the drive type, the factory color, the engine, the transmission, the horsepower, and of course miles per gallon. Those things, might be second nature to a car guy, but in a Silverado, if you just say V8, which one? They've got a 4.8, a 5.3, and a 6.0. If you don't need to pull a trailer, you can be okay with the little one. If you're pulling a big trailer, you have to have the big one. And consumers just aren't going to call dealer to dealer to dealer to ask, any chance you didn't market your car right and you've got the 6-liter? So the more detailed we can, the better answers we have for the consumers. The better answers, they initiate contact with the dealer because they have found the right vehicle.
That makes sense. Yeah, the specifics really do matter, especially with as much information as consumers have nowadays. They can actually get very specific with what it is that they're trying to find. And that's, it's a new world. Obviously, companies like yours that I think that honestly, it's probably one of the top services in the industry are most likely helping dealerships get a lot more visibility where they may not have been getting it before. And one thing I was looking at in the notes here before we talked was that you've been in the car business for 31 years. So obviously where you're at as a company right now comes from quite a bit of season for you in working with the automotive industry in general. Can you tell me a little bit about your history?
Well, I've spent a little manufacturer time. I've spent some dealership time. I've done time with AutoTrader and Cars.com several years ago that it's just such a deficit to find an actual content writer inside a dealership. It takes anywhere between 8 and 15 minutes to sit down and write a vehicle comment, but in the car business, people are pulled in 700 directions every hour. I've got an unhappy customer. I've got to do this. I've got to take care of a service issue. I've got to get a credit app. I've got to sit down uninterrupted and write a content for a vehicle that, might be easy for some, but as soon as they trade for a brand X, a Chevy guy might not know anything about an AMG Mercedes. So then that content time turns into 30 or 40 minutes. So when I was with AutoTrader and Cars.com, one of the key things was, man, you've got to do a better job marketing. And just the feedback was, I don't have time. I'm not going to sit there and do research on it. And then as a rep for, both of those companies, you're just floored with, really, how can you not want to describe a $96,000 AMG? You just call it V8, leather, sunroof. It made me think it's got to be a need for someone to be able to communicate to an AMG buyer, even though it's sitting on a Chevrolet property. That's kind of where that concept came from, and years of experience kind of help us out as we grow as a company. We have to speak the speak of the buyer. So a Quattro means something to an Audi buyer. It means nothing to a Chevrolet buyer. But the commonality is the word all-wheel drive. So from my experience, we want to make sure that we communicate it to not only the Audi buyer, but to the person who doesn't know what Quattro means. So years of experience show up a little bit in our growth.
That's great. Yeah, I can totally tell even by your service set. With the opportunity here for dealers to listen to what it is that you're explaining, one of the things that I'd like them to really get is if they want to work with you and it's something they think may help their dealership, how do they get through that process? Like, what would you say would be the first step that they would need to take in order to start initiating a discussion with your team?
Well, first and foremost is to take a look at your current offerings. So if you're not happy with an automated or robot comment that you've got in your system, then obviously pick up the phone and get in touch with me. Even though we've got 40 people that work for us, I answer every call myself when it comes to counseling a dealer. We work within about 90 different DMSs. We know the ins and outs from everything from Auto Uplink to vAuto as far as where and how to write content, and then we're opening the door for conversation. Then it becomes very easy because I'm able to speak.
Sure. So are you able to come in quickly and just kind of analyze how much content writing they might need and get them some quick quotes on where they're at as a company? Is that something that you offer?
Yes. Normally when we take a look at it, we have a couple of different options for our dealers. Either they can walk away from it and they can have a dedicated writer that works for them every single day, or we've got a nice self-service module that really empowers their internet manager to know about all the cars all the time without being a car guy.
Okay, great. So you have a way for them to access content as well as to have someone custom write content. So that's great. So you got a couple options there. It's really good. So you talked about 40 employees. I know you've been in business with this company now successfully, DealerAssistNow, for 9 years, and one thing that you told me that was very impressive to me was that you'd written over 2 million vehicle descriptions to date. That's a tremendous amount of content writing. There must be a tremendous amount of experience that your team has gained from seeing how well those have done online and well they've done against other descriptions. So I can say that I'm impressed. I think you guys are something, if you haven't heard about this company, you definitely need to get in touch with Aaron and talk to him a little bit. Again, this is DealerAssistNow we're speaking with. And so that's something that I think is missing in most dealerships' tool shed, is having really well-written content as part of their main marketing methods. So Aaron, I hope that dealers really do reach out to you here on this. I think you have a valuable service. Is there anything that you can tell me concerning what might be the best approach if, let's say, I'm a dealership now and I'm not sure if you guys can connect to my technology? Maybe I had a website that was written by a particular company, or I'm set up with AutoTrader. Sounded from what you said that you're connected a lot of different systems you can receive by API, FTP, and even go out and get the information. So it sounds like you service the dealer and don't have a lot of expectations other than to get you hooked into their system. Is that correct?
Yes, we've done it long enough where we work with 90 different vendors, like I said, from Auto Uplink to vAuto. We've got a dozen different Canadian partners that we work with as well. Stay connected to the dealer system by a one-way feed, which means one way it comes to us and I don't broadcast it out, not my business model. We filter for everything, and we're looking for fresh inventory that has fresh photos, and then it goes right into the writer's queue, and then they provide same-day service. Our writers actually log on to the dealer system, so it doesn't matter what system it is. They look at the vehicle data, they look at the vehicle pictures, they look at the history report as long as it's available. Some dealers actually have us look at their repair order, so we can handwrite the major items in. We write the content in the dealer system, we click save. The dealer system takes care of the rest of the syndication and distribution. We are just like we would be in the office just down the end of the hall.
Gotcha.
So we make it live, we make it real, and we don't cause any other headaches at all. So when I say headaches, we're not responsible for pushing feeds or actually getting stuff to AutoTrader. We don't disrupt the current working system. We just log on and we work. To make it easy for dealers, they're not having to get their tech people involved. They're not having to jump through a lot of hoops and incur any other expenses because they hired a comment company.
Got it. So it's almost like having someone on staff that logs in as if they would if they worked there. You guys are pretty much part of the crew. I like that. That's a good philosophy.
With a dedicated writer, that we're able to build relationships with the used car manager, the general manager, the internet manager, or whoever our point of contact is. So if they've got an old age unit and says, hey, we just put some new Michelins on it, then the writer can go in and add that in immediately. So everything that we do is done for a particular dealer. They have a dedicated writer. They're not writing one Silverado for one dealer, and then it's not a round-robin approach, like a revolving door.
Yeah, custom written content. They try to be creative enough, but at the same time really capture exactly what that search criteria would be for someone coming in. And again, as I mentioned in the beginning, you guys really think about the connection between the dealer and the buyer and that emotional aspect that really gets them to take action and turns on that desire that they have to build a relationship and buy a car. And I found that to be very important because most of the vehicle descriptions you get stock are just that. They're stock. They don't pay much attention to the buyer. They don't pay much attention to the dealer-buyer experience. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Part of what we do with our crew is we visit dealerships, we visit car shows. We just came back from the Chicago car show and touched everything that we could possibly touch, interacted with the spokespeople and the factory reps and dealer workers. But we also watch people. We have to speak the same language of the buyer. Not all used Mercedes are sitting at a Mercedes dealership. They might be at a Ford dealership, they might be at an Audi dealership, they might be at an independent dealership, but they still have the same buyer. A Mercedes buyer will buy a Mercedes. So you've got to speak to them in their own language. You've got to use the word formatic. You've got to communicate with them. Some cars change people's lives. Go from an old Buick LeSabre and move yourself into a BMW or a Pala LTZ. Your life's different. You have a car payment. You're smiling. Your family's looking at you different. Your coworkers are looking at you different. It's different at Christmas time. It's different at Thanksgiving. You have the new car in the family. And we always try to remember that. And one of the things I watched from being in the car business, it was just another gross. It was just another commission. It was just another piece of iron. But the emotional connection is watching people's lives change. When you tell somebody who's had marginal credit that they're approved, I've seen people just weep with excitement. There's a process that consumers go through that when you take the emotion out of it and you go with the computer algorithm, it's just in, it's just out. No one cares. But the reality of it is cars still change people's lives every single day. If you're not sure, look at the line at the car wash. They wash them because they're proud.
Okay, I think that is incredibly important and something that a lot of companies work on capturing and marketing companies try to really work on capturing, but you're doing it at a place that's probably the most frequented and most commonly found content for dealerships online, and that's the descriptions of their vehicles. I know that's for a fact. I've got a little bit of background myself in building software for SEO going 12 years back. And the descriptions of these vehicles, they show up more often than search engines than any of the other pages. So you're really dealing with the bulk of the visibility that people have anyways online. So that's incredible. I love it. Tell me something, Aaron. If I wanted to get a hold of you right now and get started, what is the first thing I do? Do I call you? Do I get on the website? What do I do first?
Obviously, if you want to communicate with me direct, 402-679-7223, and I'll answer my phone 7 days a week. Helping dealers is very important to me, but you can always go to the website, DealerAssistNow.com, and that will break down the companies that we work with.
Okay, awesome, Aaron. Thank you so much for spending some time here with me today. And everyone, Aaron is going to be at our show. We would really like to see you come on down and come check him out at his booth. Dealer Assist Now is the company. That is on September 6th, 7th, and 8th here in 2017. We're going to have an incredible show at Marketplace Master. So glad you guys are coming as well, Aaron. And everyone, thank you for another moment of your time here in our media center for Marketplace Master. You have a great rest of your day. And Aaron, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me.